Hello and welcome to At Brookings. I'm Gigi Hinton. After a trip to the Middle East that included stops most notably in Egypt, Syria, Gaza, Israel, and the West Bank, Senator John Kerry shared with a Brookings audience the path forward for peace in that region. And in White House Watch, a panel of experts previews important climate change talks slated for later this year in Copenhagen. We'll have all that and more coming up next on At Brookings.
This is At Brookings, a review of news and events for the week of March 2nd, 2009.
Senate Foreign Relations Chairman John Kerry recently toured key states in the Middle East where he met with leaders and furthered talks on stabilizing the region. Kerry discussed his findings and shared his insights in a talk at Brookings.
I see four major causes for hope, which together comprise a powerful case for action. The first and most important is a tectonic shift in Middle East geopolitics. The rise of Iran has created an unprecedented willingness among moderate Arab nations to work with Israel. This realignment can help to lay the groundwork for progress towards peace. Second, the Arab Peace Initiative has emerged as the basis on which to build a regional roadmap that enlists moderate Arab nations to play a more active role in peacemaking and to paint a clearer picture than ever before of the rewards that peace would bring to all parties. Third, the outlines of a final status agreement are, in fact, clearer than they have ever been. The challenge is not what it looks like, it's how to get from here to there. I believe the answer is to move simultaneously on capacity building in the West Bank and on the final status talks. Fourth, the Obama administration presents an extraordinary opportunity for a new beginning where America reclaims the role of an active and creative agent for peace. We can capitalize on this by charting a new path that will empower moderates on all sides who, frankly, have been lacking the political cover and losing political ground as a consequence. On the Israeli side, nothing will do more to make clear our seriousness about turning the page than demonstrating with actions rather than words that we are serious about Israel freezing settlement activity in the West Bank. For decades, American presidents, Democrat and Republican alike, have opposed new settlement activity and recognize that the settlements are an obstacle to peace. But in our honest moments, we would all acknowledge that this policy has usually existed on paper alone. And as recently as 2007 at the Annapolis conference, Israel recommitted to implementing its obligations under the roadmap, which include freezing all settlement activity.
Do I think that my money is safe in banks? I do. I feel that it is safe. And I don't worry about it.
Really don't think it's safe at all.
Yes, I feel my money is really safe. I feel confident that it's federally insured.
Well, I'm not sure I trust the banks themselves, but I trust the FDIC. So I feel that my money is safe in the bank if it's insured.
Why are the banks going bankrupt? Because our money is there. They got people helping them. They got people giving them, money to put there. Why is they going bankrupt? What's the problem?
And that's what I think.
No nation can escape the impact and ravages of climate change. That was the message from an expert panel at a Brookings forum on the issue. The group discussed ways to make December's climate change talks in Copenhagen successful.
You provide your administration and your politicians at the Hill with very many excuses for not delivering right now. And I must say, I'm very concerned if we miss this opportunity.
We have new leadership, which is conveying an exciting sense of possibility in this city. We have leadership around the world at the head of state level focusing on climate change in a way that has never happened before. We have leading businesses that are engaged in fighting climate change and promoting clean energy in very, very new ways. At the same time, The world scientists are issuing dire warnings, and in many of their views, the most ambitious plans of governments, many of which may be exceedingly difficult to achieve, will be inadequate.
Unless industrialized nations step up in Copenhagen, announce ambitious emission reduction targets for 2020, there will not be an inclination on the part of the rest of the world to follow. And without that industrialized country leadership, we will not get to the kind of emission paths that the IPCC, the scientific community, is telling us we need to be working towards.
What is it that we can commit to in terms of mitigation targets? Well, what we can go back to is a reaffirmation at a minimum of global targets that were set by the IPCC. The 2% temperature cap for the planet, the global caps on carbon concentration that we have throughout the world. Ideally, agreeing as well that we have to peak emissions by 2015 in order to be able to manage the path afterwards on the reductions of total emissions throughout the world.
I believe whatever we do in the European Union, we should ask ourselves the question, does it make it for the US more or less difficult to re-engage?
Rahm Emanuel, who is now very much in the news, has a wisecrack, which is a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And by that he had in mind the international financial crisis. And he meant, of course, that the international financial crisis gives us an incentive to do something about it, including in fundamental ways in which we govern ourselves. But it would be not just a shame, but a tragedy if that crisis were to elbow aside the incentive that we also have to deal with the climate change issue.
At Brookings is produced by the Brookings Institution. To learn more about the issues discussed on At Brookings, visit our website at brookings.edu.